Okay, here's my lovely audience. Okay, there are 5 of them. My name is Jessica Anderson, and I'm doing my speech on Sandra Day O'Connor. Okay. I would like to inform you about the life and accomplishments of Sandra Day O'Connor. She was the first woman Supreme Court Justice. She was nominated in 1981, and she was on the Supreme Court until 2006. According to her biography, she faced many trials and tribulations throughout becoming a justice, and she was never dissuaded from what she felt was right or needed for the American people. Even when she faced criticism and angst from her peers and media outlets, she never failed to keep steady in her opinions. She was born Sandra Day on her parents' cattle ranch in El Paso, Texas in 1930. She moved in with her grandmother in order to continue her schooling at the age of 10. She graduated 6th in her high school class and then proceeded to attend Stanford, where she achieved a bachelor's in economics. She from there opted to stay at Stanford, where she attended law school, and she graduated 3rd in her class, according to her. However, Stanford disputes this claim, as they did not keep records of the graduating class in 1952. After graduation, she married John J. O'Connor III, and they had 3 children. Once she graduated, she actually had a very hard time finding a job. She was refused interviews to almost 40 law firms due to being a woman. She finally desperately went to a county attorney in San Mateo, California, and took a job without pay and working beside a secretary with no office in order to just get a foot in. After she left the county office job, she went on to become the Assistant Attorney General for the state of Arizona from 1965 to 1969. She was then appointed to serve the Arizona State Senate seat. She was reelected in 1973 and became the first woman majority leader of the Arizona Senate. That accomplishment was followed by becoming the Maricopa County Supreme Court judge, and she was appointed the judge on the Arizona Court of Appeals. She was informed of her impending nomination to the Supreme Court by a phone call from President Jimmy Carter the day before the announcement was made. She actually had no idea that she was even in the running for that position. He decided he wanted a female. This nomination came with challenges to both President Connor and Justice O'Connor. She faced ridicule and was scrutinized throughout the confirmation process and actually threatened to back out 3 or 4 times. She was, however, confirmed by a vote of 99-0 because one senator was unable to attend. He ended up sending her a letter of apology and a book in place because he was so upset that she didn't get the full 100 votes to be nominated. She remained the only woman on the Supreme Court until 1993, when she expressed relief as Ruth Ginsburg joined the seat of justices. Justice O'Connor tended to create and present her own opinions instead of following along with other judges. Even if she agreed with them, she would still create and write her own rulings. One of the hot topics that put her in front of the world view was abortion. She and 2 others said, "At the heart of liberty is the right to define one's own concept of existence, of meaning of the universe, and of the mystery of human life. Beliefs about these matters could not define the attributes of personhood where they were formed under the compulsion of the state." She would not change her position on these cases, even though she did face serious media scrutiny. Judge O'Connor often based judgments on a case-by-case basis, which left her being called very narrow-minded and difficult because her cases were so specific and her rulings were so case-based. She continued to be praised and criticized after every case which came before her until she sent President George W. Bush her intention of resignation in 2005. She faced many unseen issues arising in her attempt to resign. They went through almost 3 replacements before she was finally replaced on January 31st, 2006 by Samuel Alito. Justice O'Connor now continues to work as a judge, but she has what is considered senior status of a federal judge, which means she has her own office, her own staff, her own pay, but she only sits on cases when there's another absent judge. She teaches law classes and writes books for children and for adults. She would have stayed on the council until her death, she says, had her husband not been ill with Alzheimer's disease. He ended up passing away in 2009. She chose to be a wife and focus on him through his last few years, and that was met with lots of criticism because technically she should have legally been on the Supreme Court until she died. Miss O'Connor has always stood for her own opinions and has always been proud to do what she feels is right. She is a woman who faces her own internal battles over individual cases and understands that no 2 situations are the same. Miss O'Connor is not afraid to stand up and say what she thinks. Sometimes what she thinks includes criticizing the Supreme Court handling of cases, even her own decisions, such as the voting case in Florida with the voter fraud. She actually said the Supreme Court was wrong in their decisions after she retired. She was a pioneer in women practicing law at a federal level and opened many doors. She took criticism and used it to better herself and hush up the naysayers. And she did all of this while raising a family. Even after her retirement, she had people saying she left the position in an unlawful way. She still stood by her decision to support her ailing husband. She continues to press and decide issues. At any point during the tough confirmation process or any of the times she was blasted as not supporting things others felt she should have, and yet she knew she was doing the right thing and was the right woman for the job, and she never looked back. She is an inspiration to women everywhere and shows you that you can accomplish anything once you set your mind to it and stick with it.